Look at it. Look at it! So when Don was saying the double nut method, it's not what you think.
I'm sweating, dude. Is there a difference in performance between the two springs? God damn it, dude.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 3 of our Turbo E36 build. If you guys are new here, go check out episode 1 and 2. At the end of episode 2, if you guys recall, we had to go pull another head from the junkyard because we had a crack in our M52 head. So we picked up an M50 head, we sent it off to the machine shop. We took a trip last week, we picked it up, but first, we kind of want to talk about the situation of the cracked head.
All right, so I got a whole lot of DMs, and I think he got some DMs. There was some comments on the YouTube about the situation with the machine shop and not noticing the damage on the head. Now, it is a bummer, and it was really a genuine mistake on both parties. We gave him a bad head, and he didn't see it. Now, does it suck? Yes, it totally sucks. Did he feel bad? Yes, he did. Did he compensate us for that first machining of the head? He did. He made it right. He did the right thing. I take a lot more accountability for that, because there were even signs that showed that our head had damage.
Yeah, you know, we had one comment that actually made us both laugh. One guy goes, "Oh, dude, when I saw how clean cylinder 3 piston was, I already knew that there was an issue." And it's like, that wasn't a red flag to us, but obviously it was a red flag to other people that might have known more. Like, oh, if you have coolant leaking into one of the cylinders, like, it's gonna be a little cleaner than the others. So like, he already kind of was like, oh, I saw that, and I was like, oh, there's an issue with cylinder 3. And meanwhile, we're like, didn't check any further into it. So again, what Don is saying is it's our responsibility to make sure we're bringing good quality parts. We're gonna actually talk about the differences between the two heads as well and why we chose this head. But first, when we were on our trip to pick up the head, we actually took a trip to our buddy Nima's Beamer shop, and it's called Beamer Only, where we picked up a bunch of extra turbo parts that we needed for the build. So check out his shop, and then when we get back, we'll talk about these heads. All right, guys, so again, M50 head, this is the new one that we just got machined. This is our old head that had the crack in it, M52 head.
Okay, so there is a couple differences. Overall, they're pretty much the same. The casting on the early models is better material, so it holds up to heat a little better, and they don't crack as frequently, so that's a big plus for us. The next most significant difference between the cylinder heads is going to be the coolant passages. So if we look at the early model, you'll notice here there's no passage there, and throughout it right there there's no passage there, where if we look at the later model head, has almost double the amount of passages. You'll see, like, there's the passage there, the ones we just pointed out where they weren't at has them on every one. So like passage, bunch of them on every cylinder. So that's a big difference. Now people probably wondering, like, do you use a different head gasket or anything like that? No, M50, they all use the same gasket. They're actually meant to be able to be used in both instances. So they have like holes or block offs on each one. Now, does it make a cooling difference? As far as what I've read, there's no difference in cooling temps or coolant flow that anybody's complained about. Everybody has done hybrid motors like this and says there's no issues with or difference in cooling. So that's good. The next big difference is going to be springs. The springs change. So the newer model heads actually have what are called conical springs. So you'll notice on these ones, the outer diameter of the top of the spring and the bottom of the spring is the same. And that's gonna be kind of a normal spring, where these ones, the outer diameter of the top of the spring is smaller than the outer diameter of the bottom of the spring. So it's tapered like that. and that is the conical spring. Is there a difference in performance between the two springs? God damn it, dude. As far as the performance difference between the two springs, it's pretty negligible.
I saw him flying right up at you.
Almost went in my mouth, dog. As far as a performance difference between the two different styles of springs, I've heard that there might be a slight performance advantage towards conical springs, but overall, we really shouldn't see a difference. This fly just into my ear. It was so loud. Just. God damn it, dude. Okay, so the final difference between the two cylinder heads is going to be, again, with the cooling system. This is gonna be about the sensors and ports on the side. So we have our 3 ports right here on the early model. In the late model, it's a 2-port, 1 sensor, and 1 port. So we'll have to figure out if we have to plug one of them on our early gen cylinder head or what we're gonna do there. I'm not 100% sure yet. I still have a little more research to do, but we will find out as we're wrapping this motor up.
All right, guys, before we throw this cylinder head on, there's one last thing I want to address, and that is some comments about running a cut ring gasket versus a traditional style head gasket.
A lot of you noticed that we're using an OE style gasket, so it's not a cut ring style, meaning that these, where the head and the block meet at the opening for the cylinder, there's cut ring. So it's an actual cutout ring and it has a slit in it and it pretty much locks it into the cylinder head. There's a lot of videos about it that explain it more in detail. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna talk about why we're using this one. So I'm not ignoring your comments on using a cut ring gasket. I'm just following a recipe here. My buddy Ty has had a build that has worked for 5 to 6 years. A turbo M52, similar power levels on E85 with a stock gasket, and it's worked. So I'm just gonna follow that. I've seen stock gaskets blow up, I've seen MLS gaskets blow up, I've seen cut ring gaskets blow up. I'm just going off of something that works. Ty's car rips, it's super cool. Let's put in some clips so you guys can check out what it sounds like. It's gonna give you a good idea what this build's gonna end up to be like and how it looks in an E30 chassis ripping down the track. So check that out.
All right, boys, all the head studs are in. We got the head gasket on, you saw that. It's time for the final step, which is to torque these suckers in. This step is always a little daunting. I remember when I did my SR head, putting a bolt or a nut to like 90, 80, 90 plus foot-pounds of torque is always a little intimidating. So instructions tell us to go basically 3 passes, 25 foot-pounds, 50 foot-pounds, 75 foot-pounds. We're actually changing that up just a little bit, again, based on experiences from other people and kind of the recipe we're following. We're doing 30 foot-pounds, 60 foot-pounds, then 85 foot-pounds. So we're only going 10 pounds higher than what they recommend. So let's get to torquing, and then the head is on for good. Shout out Rob for the torque wrench.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, first pass done, 30 foot-pounds. We're gonna actually, we're gonna bump up to the other torque wrench. Also shout out Rob for the other torque wrench. If you guys don't know, we don't have any good torque wrenches, okay? I borrowed one when I did my SR. We have crappy Harbor Freight ones that we don't wanna use for this. If you guys wanna help us buy some torque wrenches, do we sell anything?
We're gonna start selling stuff.
We're gonna start selling stickers and shirts to pay for this crap.
Help.
And tools. So get ready for that. All right, got the big boy ready, 60 foot-pounds.
I don't like this. Rob.
There it is. Hey, we still have to go to 85. All right, guys, 85 foot-pounds.
I'm sweating, dude.
Last one. All right, guys, one of the most absolute stressful parts of any build is over. Head studs are in, torque down, all went smooth, 85 foot-pounds, all torque to spec. That's it, man. Wow, look at it in all its glory. Look at it!
We had to work for this one. We finally got the head on. It wasn't the most flawless process ever.
We're gonna try to get the exhaust manifold studs in. We are missing some on this side, as you can see. We're gonna put those in. We're gonna try to put our turbo manifold and just kind of set the turbo on there. We just want to see what it all looks like together. Get us that like little bit of motivation by seeing it.
One cool thing that we did that's a little different on this engine than most M52s is I'm running a stud, exhaust stud, that looks like that. So you can actually tighten it, take it off, take the stud straight out without having to double nut or anything weird. So the trick to these is they are from a B54 BMW engine. I learned this from Seems Legit Garage. Shout out to those guys over there. They're super smart. They build really cool cars, so thanks.
You guys can see that the factory ones don't have anything on the end for you to unscrew it. So when Don was saying the double nut method, it's not what you think. It's when you put 2 nuts on a stud, tighten them together, and use that to back it out.
12 seconds later.
Here it is, boys.
Wow, dude.
In all its freaking glory, baby. Oh man, it feels so good to see this, guys. Obviously, it's all mock-up. Like, there's literally one nut holding the whole manifold on right now. But man, this just gets us so hyped. Like, we have a lot to do. We have so much to do still, but just seeing the manifold and the turbo on, seeing the head on there, torque down, valve cover, like, obviously no cams or anything are on yet, but it feels good. Feels good.
Don't mind me.
If you guys don't follow Don on Instagram, he is kind of documenting some of this stuff. at Don Jovius. So make sure you follow him.
If you want all the spoilers before the videos come out.
Yeah, pretty much. So that said, guys, look at this. So again, couple things. One, shout out to Tai Tai. This is mostly his recipe and along with some of our own research and whatnot. But Tai Tai, thank you for all the help and every time we hit you up with questions and things like that.
I hit him up constantly. It's like every other day I'm like, hey bro, what about the
So thank you, Ty, and thank you to Nima for the turbo, the manifold. He even gave us a downpipe, gave us a great deal on this wastegate. So huge shout out to those guys.
If you're in that area, Beamer only, get your Beamer worked on there. Those guys are really awesome.
That said, please subscribe to the channel, follow this series. I got a playlist going. Like the video, leave some comments. We love reading the comments about what you guys think
about. Tell your friends, man. Riled up.
And Don's gonna
I'm riled up.
Don's gonna do that for a while. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.